Hello, it's me, Brooke Marsing, and this is my final for English 490 for the unit plan, and this is my oral presentation. So here we go. I'm just going to jump in. I did my oral presentation based on the book Night by Elie Wiesel. I hope I'm saying his name right. I'm not really sure, so I'm sorry if I don't get that correct, but I'm pretty sure it's Elie Wiesel. This book is about a teenage boy in the Holocaust, and this is a true story written on the memories of this man when he was I think he was 16 years old, and he was living in Transylvania when his entire family was taken to a concentration camp. And it is a short volume, but it is extremely powerful, and I think that this is one of those stories that would keep students' interest, and it would teach them a lesson and not feel like it's taking forever. And I know when I was a student, if the book was just really long and tedious, it was hard to get through, and some Holocaust stories can be like that, and I feel like this book isn't like that, and it's very beneficial for those students. So that's why I chose this book. So a couple of things here. I created an essential question first before I started planning anything, because I felt that having the essential question would help me keep everything focused. And that's one thing that my practicum teacher taught me this semester, was to work backwards when you're planning a unit. And I feel like that was really good advice, actually. I think this went rather smoothly, considering I had no idea what I was doing. So my essential question, well, I had several, but my main essential question was, what can I learn about myself by reading Night? And I directed that towards the student because I wanted them to apply the book to themselves throughout the entire unit. I didn't want them to ever think that they were trying to apply it to somebody else. I wanted it to be about them, and I have found that through working with students, they really like to focus on themselves, and having an essential question based on what they think and what they're going to learn would help them. So that's why I chose that question. So most of the activities that the students do throughout the unit is based on experiences that they have and how they can apply them to the book Night. So that's essentially what I wanted throughout the unit, and I think that's what I have. At the end, I think that's what I've accomplished. So as far as assessments go, I am really not a person that tells people to pick up a pen and paper and number it 1 to 20 to take a test. I really hate that. So I steered clear from that as much as I possibly could, and I decided to go with more project-based assessments rather than okay, folks, clear your desks, time for a test. I really think that is a great way to turn off some students. So I decided to go with the project-based. And so for the final project that the students will do, they will be creating a night book based off of their worksheets they've done, research they've done, and not like worksheets like fill in the bubble or circle the word or whatever. Like, it's research-based worksheets. So I really wanted them to include those, and then to prove that they've grown. It's more like a portfolio, so it'll show like what they did at the beginning of the unit and what their thoughts were at the beginning before they started reading the book, and then it'll show gradually what the students' thinking or how the students' thinking changed up until the end of the book, and then they will write a reflection based on what they've learned, how they view the world, what they think about war, what they think about genocide, how they feel about the Holocaust in general, and what they think about dictatorships and that kind of thing. So I wanted them to see the progression, and I thought that having a book made like a portfolio would help them see how well they've learned. So that's what I have designed for their final project. As far as my top 3 lesson plans, I love all the lesson plans. I think all of them are beneficial in some way, and I feel like all of them connect to my essential question in some way as well. I didn't want to create something that would be a waste of time, basically. So my top 3 lesson plans, my first one is the Pyramid of Hate. And basically with that lesson plan, students will understand that hate causes a progression to worse things. So at the bottom of the pyramid, there's bullying, stereotyping, talking about another person behind their back, laughing at them, just really seemingly harmless things that people do, and how it can progress. And at the top of the pyramid is genocide. So it takes it from, oh, well, it was just no harm done, to it became violent, and I started hurting them or targeting them in the hallway and punching them and laughing about it or something. And then how people can't turn the violence off, and they continue to do things, and then pretty soon they're targeting all people like this person, and that is what genocide is, essentially. So I really like that lesson plan. I think it's beneficial for students. I think that they'll be able to see some of the things in their own school and how it can turn into something serious if it's not taken care of. The second lesson plan that is my favorite is the beginning research project. And with this one, the students do their own research based around the Holocaust and World War II, and they compile it, and it's like their first thing that they do for their final project. So I think that it's very beneficial for students to understand the context of the novel and understand what was going on in history at that time and why things happened the way they did. And that's why I have the beginning research project as one of my favorite lesson plans. And then my final favorite lesson plan is the Reader's Theater, and I really love the Reader's Theater. With this one, the students go through the book and they pick a scene, whatever scene they want, and then they are in a group of maybe 3 to 4 students, and they come up with a they come up with like a skit, and they act out the scene in front of their peers, and they would be graded on their tone, their mood, how they portrayed the scene. Was it serious? Did they take it seriously? Did they understand what was going on in the scene, and why was it so beneficial? Why was it significant, basically? So I think that the Reader's Theater would be fun, and I also think that it would be a way for students to take that information and say, whoa, I would not want to be in these shoes, So yeah, the Reader's Theater is my last top 3 lesson plan. So yeah, I have learned a lot of respect for teachers and what they do when it comes to unit planning. And I watched one of my practicum teachers. She planned an entire unit in 50 minutes. And I was very shocked. So this took me 2 weeks, the full 2 weeks, to make this, and I have so much respect for what teachers do, and I hope that I will be able to be just as effective and become better with my time management and just be able to focus in on what I want my students to do and everything else. So yeah, this was a great learning experience. Thank you so much for your time and for teaching me, and it was great learning with you all, and I will see you all later. Bye!